struggling with tariffs and rising prices. Good, that's your wake-up call. Here's how to slash your food bill, save real money, and still dominate Daygame in 2025 so you can afford the Elite Bundle resurrections. And finally stop making excuses for not getting laid for Daygame. When I made this video last time, I will play it here. I think a lot of things changed from the tariff. And to the very first time I made the 5-day challenge, it was April the 2nd, 2025. I thought the tariff was going to happen, but Donald Trump took away all the tariff and saying he's going to pause it for a few months. But there are some countries that are still hit with tariff, including Canada right now, really badly. China is hit super hard. But the advice I was giving for April, for how to save money, all that stuff has gone out the window. Now the advice to save money is going to be different. I'm going to critique it.
A lot of people are panicking right now, thinking they can't afford it. But here's the truth. The tariff has been paused for 90 days. People are freaking out over nothing. There's going to be a golden age for this after this. It's going to thrive.
This is really important because in my psychic predictions, I've been right about everything except for the Canadian elections. I have a 97% prediction rate, but my prediction is that in the United States, the tariff will last until the end of the year. But the economy is going to spike up dramatically after that. It's not going to be a recession. So we already have one negative GDP quarter. The next GDP quarter is not going to go down. It's going to go a little bit up. So there's no recession. However, money is going to be tight. That's why I'm making a financing plan. So
Elite Bundle Resurrections is, which is an investment. It's your ticket to mastering Daygame and transforming your gaming life. Here's the best part.
The original launch was $900 for early launch. Now it's $935. You should invest right now. If you wait too long, it's like a scorecard. Whenever you go through the winner and loser effect because of the economy, you always want to tell yourself this. This is a big secret. I teach my students how to accept the inflation. Because if we look at the traits, here's the big secret, okay? This is how you do it. If we look at the 7 stages of grief, right? There are, number 1, you go in shock, right? So every single time like the economy crashes or some shit, right? You're gonna go into shock. Number 2, you go into denial. You try to avoid the inevitable. Number 3, you're gonna get angry, right? Number 4, you're gonna start bargaining, right? Number 5, you're gonna get very depressed during this inflation, like a lot of my students turning into zombies. Number 6, you're gonna start testing, right? Seeking realistic solutions. And number 7 is called acceptance. Does that make sense, guys? So if you start accepting, whenever I think, oh shit, the Canadian economy is hit very hard, now we don't have a conservative government, we have this stupid liberal again, I get triggered, right? And then I say to myself, John, I accept the situation that the liberal won the elections. I'm not going to try to fight it. See, once I accept it, my brain lets go. Get it? I'm not tackled by 7 different football players or mentally. Make sense? So that's a big secret. I'm telling you guys. Marco forgets because he's a zombie. Whenever I teach him how, he's, oh, there's money problems. A quesadilla costs so much money. He's supposed to say, I accept the quesadilla, whatever, that Mexican food. It's supposed to cost a lot of money during an inflation and tariff. And then he will not bench hold. Make sense? So you got to keep calling it out. So the whole day, you might call out like 3 or 4 times. So you don't get a double chin. If you don't call it out.
Gen Z, their credit cards and use envelopes. But you can use a similar idea of separating money. You can even do this with your bank account. You can have 5 different bank accounts. Every time you get paid, you split into these 5 buckets or 5 bank accounts. Metaphorically, like the 5 envelopes. Picture this. You're on your way to a financial stability. And your first step is building your emergency fund. This trusty envelope is like your safety net, helping you tackle unexpected expenses that life throws your way. Whether it's a sudden car repair, like my students who kept getting car repairs and other things breaking down, emergency funds, or a surprise medical bill. Having this stash of cash will save the day. Remember, it's always wise to.
So first of all, like I said, it's going to be 20% in the emergency bucket. This is still working right now. I have taught this over and over to poor people that are always in debt or nearly kicked out of their home. They never listen to this. They always have an emergency, especially black students. Latinos too. Latinos can take on more credit card debt in the United States. But black students, one broken car, one setback, they can't afford it. No black students listen to this. No emergency fund. You need an emergency fund. You need to put 20% of everything you're paid into there. This has saved a lot of people from being homeless.
20% of your income into this envelope. The first envelope is your emergency fund. The second envelope is your investment. Now let's talk about multiplying your money. Investing is where it is at, my friend. So allocating 20% of your income to this envelope allows you to grow your wealth over time. Imagine your money working for you. Making even more money is like having a personal ATM. Whether it's stocks, real estate, or starting your own business, investment paves the way to financial freedom. Envelope number 3, your self-education. Knowledge is power.
So investment bucket, a lot of people are saying, oh, I want to put all my money, like this Latino guy was saying, I'm going to put all my money into investments, John. Can you look at the charts for me and stuff like that? Can you, I'm trying, he's getting all complicated. And I said, dude, that's stupid. You should not invest. You should focus on high income skills that brings more money into your job. He does accounting, right? Or something like that. He's a logical Asperger guy. But when they get lazy, they always put all their money into one basket. Indians have to all drop ship. All Indians love drop shipping. Oh, but this is in my blood, John. Then you have other people like Asians or something. They put all their money into the fucking stock market because the more ADHD you are, the 80% will be tied up with something. Or they're tied up into your retirement savings account for the 55-year-old student. Always 80% of your money is tied up into the wrong investment. Only 20% can be tied up of what you earn, not 80%. And the stock market, when it crashed a little bit, there are people that I know that have lost like $60,000 overnight. For some people, that's like a year of their pay in one day. That fluctuation. Never ever put more than 10%. Investments are just to store your wealth, but 20% is the most you can do. Focus on high income skills first. Then you can scale your team, right? So for me, I have a lot of tools to scale my business. I have one to make YouTube shorts, although the YouTube shorts don't show up in the algorithm. I have other things like to help my business. Other tools like video editing. You see my transcription video editor. It transcribes all the video text and I can edit from the text. These are investments. But I invest in these kind of tech to make my business go faster. I can't just sit there with CapCut and cut every piece at a time listening to it. It's gonna take me like a whole week. That's why I can put out videos in one day. I invest in myself. And I also invest in courses too, all the time, to learn how to make more money. Whenever something's on Facebook and it shows up all the time, they're making a lot of money to pay for the ads. I just buy it. It helps my business.
My fellow Daygamers, with ADHD, staying ahead of the curve is critical. That's why I dedicate another 20% of my income to self-education. This means investing in books, in courses, in workshops, in mentors, or anything that expands your mind to enhance my high income skills. Here's a secret. Improving yourself opens doors to opportunities we never thought was possible. So let's turn this envelope into a gateway to success. Envelope number 4, paying the bills.
Here's the truth, okay? The inflation would take away all your money. It's so high. It's gonna take away all the money. So the money you save will be bench-holded away because of the inflation. So if you save your money, you're gonna lose your money. But if you spend the money because you're depressed with play money, which I'll talk about, then you become in debt. Get it? There's no way out. The only way out is to invest in your skills. That's why I recommend Elite Bundle Resurrections. You need new ideas. But I invest like crazy. I have a bunch of courses all over here. I just recently invested in 1 year mentoring. And let's see if it's over here. And they interview people that make $100 million, $1 billion, stuff like that. It's crazy. They have a live recording calls and the crazy interviews that they have. Here's Neil Patel. That guy's $100 million for this Indian guy. And they're interviewing him right here. You can see that this is Neil Patel over here. Let me show you. All Indian guy. That's him giving advice.
And if people are making hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, it's okay if you make 4 or 5 million bucks. You're small, but that's still a shitload of money, so who cares? Just go after a really big punch bowl and get drunk.
So I'm learning from all these people making hundreds of millions of dollars or billions. And there's other people in here too. This is Myron Golden, right? The black dude, that's spiritual, the ClickFunnels guy. This guy is like, how rich is he? His net worth is probably, he makes how many, like 10 million a year or something? A black dude too. So let's play it right here. Yeah, he's a very spiritual guy.
Made the shift, started selling, making my offers. I raised my prices and started making my offers to people who need the money. They started buying from me like it was going ass down. Guess what? It hadn't slowed down yet. So I joined a community where I could discover what my real value was, because I really had no idea. Up until that point, I had no idea how valuable all this stuff that I had learned over the years really was.
People are asking these guys questions and you're like, what the fuck? So I invest in myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand business at all. And this is even recent stuff during the inflation and the tariffs. They even talk about the tariffs. So,
Myron, I can't.
see, this is Myron Goen, the black dude. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's 80 million or something. So I get access to the mental filter. I invest in myself. I'll pay for this stuff. So I don't bench hold away. Without self-education, I wouldn't make money. And I'm still profitable. So I have books like this, for example, on Kindle. You see there's books here. The first one, The Art of Military Innovations, Lessons from the Israeli Defense Forces, right? This is like manifestation book. When they say no, right? What happens if they say no? How to, another manifestation book, Ban Money Secrets. See, I buy it like crazy. The Book of Wealth by Brian Kim, which is on YouTube, right? For accounting. Go to Know. Living with the Seal. That's like David Goggins, right? Risk Paradox. Here's a bunch of CIA books. Broke to Billionaires, ChatGPT for Beginners, Day Trading Attention, The Psychic Handbook, 7-Figure Side Hustle, Sales Funnel Sabotage, The Secret Sales Code, Niche Navigator, Business Wealth Risk, Something Profitable Ads, How to Make a Few $1 billion, $1 Million Weekend. That, I don't waste time. I need to learn. I have a growth mindset in terms of grit. This is why I'm not getting like fat and stuff or losing all my hair like you guys. I'm always profitable while people are starving to death. Because I learn. I invest in myself. They matter. But if you guys don't invest in Elite Bundle Resurrections or learn new ideas, then what are you doing with your life? You're going to get liabilities and you're going to waste all your money because you get depressed. Whenever you get depressed, you spend more play money and then you have debt. I invest my way out of a problem by improving high income skills. Does that make sense? So it's like a perfect strategy.
Unavoidable, but with ADHD, managing finances can be.
Next one.
Here's a secret.
Paying the bill.
I dedicate another 20% of my income to self-education. This means investing in books, and courses, and workshops.
The next one is paying the bills.
Expand your mind to enhance my high income skills. Number 4, paying the bills. Bills are unavoidable, but with ADHD, managing finances can be an extra challenging. That's where our fourth envelope comes into play. Here's the deal. Allocate 20% of your income to this envelope to conquer those pesky bills.
You know what's the problem with paying the bills? Some people, they'll make their ADHD antidepressants paying the bills. I know students or former students that would say, I have to spend more money on bottle service. They'll spend over $30,000 on bottle service in the nightclub just to spike their emotions. Or they'll spend it all on something else. They'll just waste money. They'll go back to $0 and then nearly get kicked out of their fucking place. That's crazy. That's the level of ADHD. When you have ADHD, you can't get anything done, then you feel depressed, you gotta spend more money. They call it paying the bills. Oh, that's part of paying the bills because that's my socializing bill. Or they'll say, oh, I gotta spend more money on shisha, right? Because I'm socializing. They'll include stuff like, oh, I gotta spend all my money on DoorDash because that's part of like eating, right? You could cook your own food. The lazy people have to get delivery so that way they can waste all their money. But those are not bills. You have to budget properly, but budgeting and saving money so you can invest. Does that make sense? You gotta learn how to invest. Invest in Elite Bundle Resurrections, guys. It's not just because, oh, John wants to make more money and stuff. No, John needs more students, able-bodied warriors, so that way I can get more lay testimonials this year. I'm looking for non-zombies. People are financially well off with grit. John needs his army because the existing army of the reserve unit is rotting away. Reserve unit, all this other stuff. I'm like Donald Trump. I'm still sharp, even though I'm older, because I'm not going through the winner and loser effect yet. I'm not financially affected yet. I'm quite stable.
Without breaking a sweat. Seek the guide to financial stress and hello financial peace. Here's the 5th envelope. Save money. That's right. Work and no play. It's not anymore, gamers. We all need to reward ourselves for our hard work and dedication. That's why we reserve 20% of our income for some good old-fashioned save money. Whether it's treating yourself to a fancy dinner, oil on vacation, or splurging on a new gadget or a new clothes, this is your envelope. It's guilt-free.
Most of you guys, if it's not all in investments, like 80% into drop shipping or into stocks, right, which is all gone, or Bitfuck, then it's going to be all into play money. There's going to be nothing left for the bills, so you become in debt. When you live in the United States, you can get away with it. But if you're in other countries, you cannot get away with this stuff. In third world countries.
It's fine. You earned it, and if you don't actually spend it by the end of the month, then you have to start all over by the next month. So you're forcing yourself to spend that 20%. So it doesn't have to be all bills. So there you have it.
You see that? Because the 20%, if you spend it and you earn it, then you want to make more of it. These are all secrets. That means if you follow these 5 steps, right? 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, right? Emergency, investment, self-education, bills, play money, you'll never go broke. I've never been in debt before in my life because I followed this. I learned this from a guy who made over $100 million. This concept, it's not like I invented it. I just teach it and it works. It got people out of homelessness.
The sensational 5 envelope concept specifically created for day gamers.
So how can you guys not afford $311 for the deposit for Elite Bundle Resurrections for this price before it goes up on the May the 9th? How can you not afford it? It's hardly anything if you follow the system. It's just all excuses because he didn't know any better. And here's the problem. The reason why people are in debt is because one of their parents was always bringing in money and they always lose all the money. So it transfers to you. In the first 7 years of your life, you absorb all the habits from your parents. So that's the thing. My grandfather started Chinese television, Cantonese television in Vancouver and all of Canada. This is not like something I'm making up like a sociopath where you try to be a narcissist gaslighting people. No, he started a television station and a radio station, the biggest one for a Cantonese station. And these fuckers bought him out. They only give him a few $100,000. And they say, we have all the actors, we have all the talent, you have the studio. They brought me to the studio before they got pissed off at me. Oh no, their grandson is over here trying to take over the place. No, I didn't want to join it. I had to start building magazines and stuff. I was very bored by it. So I just became a dating coach. But that was back then. My grandfather did start that Chinese television station. His name's not in the Wikipedia. He's one of those founders. You know how these days they have a lot of founders, entrepreneurs, they start a business and they sell the business. So because I grew up in the first 7 years, seeing that my grandfather worked at this place, I also wanted to help the Asians like he was helping the Asians. After he stopped, he became an activist for Chinese causes, where he fight against the government. They try to shut down all like Chinatown. They're saying, oh no, these Peking duck and stuff, they're not sanitary because they're not cooked properly with the right temperatures. He had to convince the Canadian government that Chinese people should have Peking duck, and they serve them Peking duck to the government. And then they say, oh, it's all safe and everything, that's fine. So he was like fighting for the Chinese people's causes, the Cantonese. They're not Mandarin.
It's filled with 20% of your people, creating a balance in digital financial plan. So whatever you get paid, it's like 20.
Right.
Ready to fund your overwhelming tickets for your pieces. Work like on your terms. Find 500 concepts today and watch your financial education. Step number 1, DeFi. Bank it into 5 accounts. Step number 2, split everything into 5 pieces. Millionaires all do this. Step number 3, the more you earn, the more you can spend for the play bucket. Today gamers, their play money bucket is almost 90% of their budget. You can't go past 20% for each time you get paid. Most ADHD people will ignore this. They get to debt. They don't want to spend for self-education to earn more of a side hustle to a normal job because you're lazy. So that bucket doesn't exist for you guys over here. The self-education bucket, it has to exist. You have to learn high income skills. Sometimes you gotta read books, it's cheaper. Library's free. Then you can buy cheap courses. Then you can buy more expensive courses if you want and get mentors. One thing at a time. I told this guy, it's like a bridge. Sometimes the reason why he sucks at these skills is he made me good at one thing, I made him 10K. But he was not good at ads, he was not good with copywriting, he was not good with saving, he was not good with this, he was not good with sales. He was just good at one thing. He didn't build a 20 or 35 bridge. Sometimes you need to learn so much skills for your self-education.
Yeah, this one guy, right, crashed out. I left him in inner circle and he benchoed it. I told him that there's something wrong with his sales because I can still close deals and he cannot. He's getting less leads. What worked for him last year? He was just getting nonstop leads and I told him to get a side hustle. He didn't listen to me. So that way he can get some money coming in. He just dismissed me and he cannot close any more deals and they give him less leads, like one of those high ticket closers. I taught him, he got kicked out of his friend's apartment, this white guy, and he became homeless. And then I taught him exactly what to do. He moved to a Latin country, shithole country. He saved the money. He made all this money. That's like all the money he saved is how long he can live. And now he's fucked during the tariffs. And then he dismissed what I had to say. In the middle of Elite Tonality Mastery, he crashed out right on the video talking about the problems with the zombies. That's the very first video. He benchoed it so hard. And then he started giving me suggestions on what to teach for elite tonality mastery when I have 661 latent poll testimonials. I called him out. And then he tries to shift the blame, saying, John, you're a bully, or he didn't say that, but they usually do that when they crash out. And then they try to shift the blame on me that you're not open-minded. They always say that. It's never their fault, these sociopaths. Now he's going to be homeless again. But that was who I was talking about that was making like that much. One skill, right? If you don't have all these other skills, they're very important to learn everything. I can't run the business without all these skills. So
entrepreneur should be out there doing it while you're studying, but you need to learn enough skills to connect everything. This concept of 5 envelopes fortified, or drowning in the sea of debt, feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. How to pay off your debt efficiently and tackle it head on, even if you feel like your mental resources.
yeah, a lot of people are broke or they have debt. Broke means you're at zero paycheck to paycheck. Debt means like Latino minus 5K figure debt. So I'm going to teach you here on how to pay off the debt.
Dealing with debt can be a real nightmare, but because here is the first secret to success. Break it down to smaller pieces first. Always go for the one that gives you the most profits. Why? Because conquering these smaller...
Okay, that may not make any sense to you, right? But if you have a debt, right? Imagine a big glacier. You don't take on too big of a piece. You can't, then you're never going to start. You don't take on a small piece because you emotionally feel like, oh, I might as well just hold on to the money and earn more. You take off a big chunk first, right? The first chunk, something that sizable that gives you a little bit of confidence is an emotional thing to pay off the debt. That's why I teach the students. So maybe let's say you owe like a Latino amount, right? 20,000. You don't just pay like a 10,000 amount. You will never do it. You might start with you might feel good with maybe 2,500. Does that make sense? You chop off that part first, okay? Then you get the emotional spike, the confidence that you can do it.
Be a confidence boost like no other. It's like flexing those mental muscles. Number 2, gaining confidence.
You pay off that 2,000, you feel good. Maybe next time it's $700. Chop that off. Next time, maybe you feel better. 2,500. Chop that off, right? 2,000, 2,500, right? 700. And then it starts to add up. And next time you might feel like maybe I can pay off like all the 200,000. Maybe I can pay off 3,000. Okay? Next time I feel like $60. It's all about emotional, and then you keep spiking it upwards. And then near the end, right? When you're nearly breaking it all down, there's less weight to the glacier. Does that make sense? That's why when the other Latino guy, the Spanish guy, he paid off all his debt, he did the same thing. And then at the very end, you go all in, the Tet offensive. Let's say, okay, I can pay off like 8K now. I can afford it. Boom, you knock it out. But had you tried to pay off like a small amount, or you try to pay off like a bigger amount, you'll never do it. People don't understand. But now that I explain it for the May Day challenge, for the 5-day challenge, I'm telling you all the secrets that I taught my students. And one of the Indian students who's making $500,000 a year now, he got out of debt. He almost got homeless. He did this and it wiped it all out. It's not bullshit.
The second step to conquering your debt is focusing on one piece that gives you the most offers. You know that Indians to challenge is and motivate if you're not a player chat. The second step is to conquer the debt is to focus on the next piece that gives you the most confidence. If the first one is paid off already, you got paid off.
The problem with the videos, right, when you watch it, is that you see it from your own mental filter. When you ask me questions here, you see it from my mental filter. Does that make sense? It's different.
Most confidence. By handling those smaller and more manageable debts first, you create momentum of success. It's like unleashing your inner warrior and gaining mental strength. You need to take on a bigger piece ahead. It's like you're dividing and conquering. So this entire debt is smaller, just like the whole interest rate concept thing I talked about earlier. Section number 3, defining draining resources. Now listen closely, my key gamers. This is crucial. Avoid...
What is draining resources? I learned this stuff over here from one of the person from CIA to get rid of the debt. So that's how I'm bringing you the information. I learned from lots of other people. This is a CIA method. Or at least for like this person who taught it. So he also taught about draining mental resources. We can only do 2 or 3 things a day, right? For me, I can just write the script and show up on YouTube Live. Most of us can only do that, but how do you recharge?
On the biggest debt monster right off the bat. Trust me, it will drain you of your precious mental resources faster than a tornado. Instead, opt in to attack those smaller debts. So those little victories will refill your mental energy as a superhero, powering you. And each victory, say your APR.
But it's not just a debt, right? It's also for tasks. You don't always have to take on the biggest task first. You can take on the second biggest one, and that refills your mental energy. And then once you do that, you can jump onto another one. That might drain your energy. And then you do the next thing, it recharges a little bit, like exercising. I hope that makes sense. This is one of those secret methods I've learned. This is how I'm able to do an incredible amount of writing the script, and I do it right before I start it. I had no script for this one. I just winged it all. For day number 5, this is all winged. The only thing I've added was the FAQ.
You need to get most. Now go forth and reclaim your financial freedom. Pay off smaller pieces first. You wither down the overall debt, mentally freeing you of your resources, so you can reuse those resources to take on a bigger debt. Step number 2, with more confidence, you pay off more of it, building more mental reserves or resources. Then most of the guys in the 30 to 60K debt are too ADHD and overwhelmed to even listen to this advice. Step number 3, as you're getting more debt free, you pay off the last of it. You never do the first biggest piece. Instead, for my students who cleared it from 10K to 20K debt with ease, with my way, yes, there are students with 60K and 30K in debt. They have not completely cleared it yet. They're still in debt. They're too far gone. But this is the best strategy. Most of your severe ADHD are in debt or money that is tied up in bitcoins, TARIFFS, SVP, retirement saving plans, or dropshitting, stock, options tradings, or the funny thing is some of you are flat broke and you have all your money into it living paycheck to paycheck. You're too lazy to do any of the work, just like the wealth triangle ladder. Always get the high income skills first, not invest and tie up all your money. I want to share a simple yet effective way to budget for a better social life without compromising on your health or finances. What works best for me and my students to save money is drinking fuel in the United States. And so,
Okay, so basically, this is one of
effective way to budget better social life without compromising on your health or finances. What works best for me and my students to save.
So this is called HEAL, right? This thing, HEAL, HUEL. A lot of my students, I can show you a picture of them, right? JP bought HEAL and another student. So I would recommend drinking HEAL. The thing is so big, right? Every single time I drink HEAL, or I don't have HEAL over here in Canada, right? We have Soylent, and I brought a Soylent to show you guys. This is what I use, right? I was gonna bring upstairs, right? But I have to refrigerate and everything for the milk. This thing's called Soylent. Soylent. See that? Hopefully you can see it. Pretty heavy, right? I usually mix it with milk and water for a Soylent. So if I drink Soylent, right, in the morning, and I know I show this in the video, but people don't understand what it means. This heavy thing. Right now, here's the problem. All the strategies, because of Donald Trump, the tariff, they're all gone. This is not on Amazon anymore. This is gone. I can't even buy this. It's heavy, but Soylent. So United States have HEAL, Canada have Soylent. So approach Titan. If you have a little bit of money, you don't have to eat breakfast or lunch, and you just eat from 3 to 6, a big meal. You save a lot of money this way. So if you do something like this, you can afford Elite Bundle Resurrections. HEAL, HUEL, okay? HEAL, but that's Soylent. It's not delicious, but it's not bad either. You can mix it with milk. And then I'm gonna censor the face. I'm sure he's okay with it. I won't say which location, but he also got the Elite Bundle Resurrections. He bought the whole thing. He didn't use a financing plan. He just went right for it. Let me censor his face right now. Right, here's a picture of him. That's him over here, his head. I censored it. So you can see roughly compared to a human being, right? That's a white shirt over there. He was huge, man. He was bigger than Soylent. For 60 bucks is a fucking steal. So if you drink this every single morning, you get 40 grams of protein or some shit. It's 2 scoops, so you can drink 1 scoop with milk. You don't feel hungry because you give the body all the nutrients it needs. Whatever is missing, you supplement it, and then you can push the fast. And that way you don't spike your insulin, and then you don't get fat. You start building muscles faster.
To avoid snacking in between because that spikes your insulin, leading to issues like being skinny fat or developing Cushing syndrome.
So what I recommend is drinking enough Soylent or HEAL. If it's 1 or 2 scoops, it depends on you, or 1.5 scoops. Whatever makes you not hungry until later on. Does that make sense? You have to be able to push the fast all the way to 3, but you don't feel any hunger. Outside of that, you feel much better. You can't do it forever. You start to get hungry, but that's one secret of saving money.
It also helps you focus on making excuses. Most people spend around $18 on McDonald's now. Stressing behind the price because it's teaching. It's a meat delivery service that costs you $100.
So this meat delivery service, $100, Meridian Meats or Meridian Farmers Market, is no longer $100 now after Donald Trump's tariff. It's $125 now. What the fuck? It's not even affordable. It's like, even if you buy it, you can get it cheaper from Costco, even if it's not New Zealand beef or whatever the fuck. So this is already expired. My suggestion last month about going to a Meridian Farmers Market is expired.
The newest suggestion I just found out after this video was to get sirloin tip roast. It was nearly £4 for $60 Canadian at Costco. I'm going to get this instead. I'm dropping Meridian's Farmers Market bundle now for this. I just have to cut it myself.
You see how things change so easily, but Soylent is still there.
Saving me money. You're likely spending over $1,000 on. I spend only $100 on $60 on soda. $106 a month. $6. Everything to 5 minutes. It's your emergency kit. It's your safety net. It's the money you send to expenses. Italian. It's scramble as soon as you approach it. We're receiving these days in 2025. This is for self-education. This is where you invest in things like Elite Bundle Resurrections. Why? Because self-education is the one investment that always pays off. It gives you the skills and strategies to make more money and create opportunities. People are learning less these days due to distractions. Also, economics. Fair market is for investment.
Yeah, they are learning less these days, right? And they don't have a memory. You gotta go through your material many times.
It's something called it's a plant that likes to grow vegetables indoors. It's no longer available.
So this plantiform thing, right, is not on Amazon anymore.
For example,
Do you remember that big giant UFO pod that I had before? This one? It grows plants. It actually had a problem. One of the foggers, right? It creates fogs. There's 3 of them, right? One of them was not working when I was cleaning it, and I had to refund it. But Amazon took the thing. I lost $800 plus $160 to return it to them. I lost like $1,000. That's a liability. I tried to grow my vegetables, but they all turn like black color or brown for the roots. So I learned a lot. That's why I call it root rotting. But it was a great lesson for this 5-day challenge. But that is already expired. That advice last month is gone. Donald Trump tariff changes everything. You have to adapt.
it's something called it's a plant that grows vegetables indoors.
I learned it from this guy from Vancouver. Look at him. So this is me in 2015. This is what I look like. If we can see it. That's me in 2015. I pretty much look exactly the same as right now in 2025. That's 10 years ago. Right? Let's see if I can get a bigger picture. See, I don't physically age. That's my advantage. I physically look the same. Who's the other guy? That's Dan Locke in Vancouver. He made $100 million here. Some people call him like a fake guru, whatever, but I met him in 2015. I learned some concepts from him, and the 5 bucket concept was actually from him. And that was a Facebook post from 2015. Sometimes I buy this tuna, this clover leaf. This one's still okay. You get like 50 of them for, no, you get 30 something or 32 of them for $50. So you can mix it with rice or whatever, just to supplement your food in case you're hungry. So this is called clover leaf. Like spicy Thai chili is the best tasting one. Okay. So it's not bad. You can mix it with pasta. These days, pasta is fine because there's protein inside it. I make a lot of pasta with Swedish meatballs, but you can make pasta with just butter, garlic, and whatever. But spaghetti, right? Get a lot of spaghetti. That's still working.
Versatile and packed with treaties. The big case of it, yeah. It's been sold out on Amazon. People are figuring out my strategies or things for buying this.
Okay, so this is basmati rice.
Steven sold out on Amazon. People are figuring out my strategies or adapting to it. Speaking of rice.
Like, why would John buy basmati rice? John's not Indian. I only exclusively eat basmati rice. So my diet, if I do eat rice, you can get cheap, but this one is called Zika or Z-A, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Basmati rice. Z-I-K-A or Z-A-I-K-A. But yeah, it's like almost like 40 something. I have my own Buns coffee maker, the one that Tim Hortons uses, but not exactly the same. I used to work at Tim Hortons when I was still a dating coach, because one of my students said that my job is not a real job. I think that was like way back then. But here's what you can do, cold brew coffee. If you get one of these jars, you can fill it with coffee and cold water, and you can actually make cold coffee. And this stuff is really good. You don't need to add like sugar or anything. It's already quite sweet and it's very tasty.
Green tea is fucking cheap. You can leave it in cold water for 10 minutes and make your own iced tea. So you don't need to spend so much money with soda pop and still get caffeine.
Get the heel right away. I highly recommend everyone grab a heel for $60, H-U-E-L, if you're American. Canadians buy a Soylent. Then you can afford Elite Bundle Resurrections. You don't have to pay for breakfast or lunch anymore. And that's the end of today's class. I didn't pitch too much of the Elite Bundle Resurrections, but I really hope you guys do join. I do need an army. If you're able, you have some decent SMV, you're not poor, you're not rotting away, and you're not like a loser, please join me. You deserve to be here. I will teach you with a new method to deal with your memory problems that guys are having. All right? I want to teach those kind of people. Anyways, I just want you guys to join. Look at the sales letter or something like that. Find it in the description. And I'll see you as my new students. I expect 3 or 4 more new people. You might think they're not going to join. Anyways, Daygame Moses out. Or General John Elite out.
I'll make you mine.